Hey everyone, Taki here. Today we're going to do a quick video on the new controller from Flydigi, the JOYONE. Now I've talked about this many times in other videos, but Flydigi is one of my favorite controllers for screen mapping technology. My favorite controller from Flydigi is the WASP-2 that you can see here. I have several hundred hours clocked in on this, and I've been patiently waiting for an update to this old model. The new JOYONE has some of the same functionality of this old controller, so I was interested to see how well it stacks up against my favorite controller from Flydigi. I'm going to very quickly unbox this so we can take a look at the new controller. Well, here's the controller. It's a lot smaller than I thought it would be, but it does feel very nice in the hand. The joystick is basically the same as the one in the old WASP-2, and we also have a few less buttons. We just have the joystick with L3 functionality and a single shoulder button on the top. Unlike the WASP-2, this new controller has a silicone rubber cap that feels really nice in the hand. This is probably the simplest product from Flydigi that I've ever used. It really only has one function that you can do, which is you press down on this pad and then it engages the device. I'm going to see what that looks like in the software in just a moment. So we've gone ahead and clamped the controller to the top of the phone, and we've also loaded up the Flydigi app. You are going to need this app to complete the pairing process for the screen mapping. This is using the Chinese version of the Flydigi app, but this also works with the normal app from the Google Play Store. There's not that much fuss to pair this controller versus other Flydigi controllers that I've used due to the new way that they are handling inputs. I just need to press this button to start the pairing process. Now that the controller is connected to my phone with the app, I can see that there is a new firmware update for the JOYONE, so I'm going to take this time to apply it before continuing with my testing. Updates like these can be annoying on other Flydigi controllers that require USB debugging access, but this is painless. I'm going to quickly make sure my controller is working correctly inside their testing app, and then I'm going to launch one of the games that I've added to the Flydigi app. The game is loaded up, so let's take a look at our screen mapping options. Press the floating icon and you'll be at this profile selection window. I'm going to click on the edit button to get started. There are some buttons already on the screen that I'm going to remove to show you the entire process from the beginning. As you can see, there are 4 actions that we can map in the center window. I'm going to place the left joystick over the in-game window, left trigger over one of my bottom abilities, and L3 over the shop items, since that is kind of blocked by this controller. The 4th button is a combo button, but I will not be using that on this controller. After that's done, all you need to do is hit the save button, and all of your actions should work with the controller. Since I'm very used to using the WASP controller, this little guy isn't too far out of my comfort zone. The joystick alone is a nice replacement over having to use your thumb on the screen, and it feels just as fluid as using normal touch sampling with your thumb. The real interesting thing about this controller is how they've managed to bypass some of the restrictions of Android 11. I turned on pointer location and show tap so you can see what's going on here. Essentially, we have a joystick functioning as a mouse with a very small range of movement that resets, with the other 2 buttons functioning as left and right click. In this way, the controller is turned into a mouse, and the screen mapping app just needs to listen for those events to turn them into touchscreen actions. This is a much better alternative to needing constant USB debugging like you do on many other controllers. Compared to my favorite controller from Flydigi, the JOYONE definitely takes up less space, which I can appreciate. The only place where this is lacking is the absence of an M1 button on the back, like the WASP. I find it to be far more useful than any of the other buttons, and I end up using it for things that need to be executed repeatedly during a match. It would have been nice to have a 3rd button, and I feel that they could have added a small tactile switch to the back plate if they wanted. Depending on the complexity of the game that you'll be using, it can be limiting to only have 2 buttons and a joystick for input. That being said, this is a premium feeling controller with a much wider selection of supported devices than the WASP. I didn't use it in this video, but this can easily support a tablet, and that might be one of the best use cases for it. If you're interested in the JOYONE, you can find links to Flydigi's store down below. Happy gaming everyone, Taki out.